Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. That is the best-selling Rolls-Royce car that they've ever made, the Cullinan, and that's the latest and greatest version in its natural habitat. Would I have one? I don't know, I've never even seen one in real life, so I'd have to have a look at one and of course drive one if I wanted one and had that kind of money. If you're an American, you're looking in the region of $500,000 to $600,000. Over here it's £325,000 before the optional extras, so you're looking at say £400,000. I ain't got that kind of money, so I'll have to look at one when I go to a car show. Anyway, enough about that. As you know, the women in America and in the Western world are complaining on TikTok that they can't get a date, and this is becoming more and more prevalent across the society as more and more guys decide to go their own way and decide that they're better off on their own. Now I think this is having a domino effect, and it's starting to affect women right across the board, because I found this. This, as you can see, is San Diego magazine from California, which is one of the epicenters of feminism in America. As you can see, it says Unhinged, a dating series. I've never been in a relationship, i.e. a relationship virgin. Now this was done on August the 2nd this year, and if you drop down, this is about a woman in real life, but they've called her Felicity for this article, and today she's in her 30s, i.e. post-war. Though she's had sexual experiences, i.e. she rode the cock carousel, she has never had a boyfriend. She's been with Chad. The fact that she's shy about sharing her lack of chances to experiment with dating as a teen isn't the only reason for her single status. She tells me she can't help but think it's continuing to play a role, or she's making poor choices with guys. She wants to be in a relationship and eventually get married and start a family, but she's up against the wall and her biological clock. It weighs heavily on her mind that each year she's drawing closer to an age when conceiving children is more difficult. At least she's acknowledged the fact that her biological clock is winding down. And then it goes, the US Census Bureau showed that 47% of America's population, or just over 117 million people, are currently single. So you can say half of that are guys that's taken the red pill, and half of them are women who were too picky, and now they're complaining on TikTok. And according to the 2020 study, 35% of the country's unmarried adults have never been in a committed romantic relationship. That could be women being too picky and guys deciding that the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And then it comes on TikTok, women come together under the hashtag never had a boyfriend, sharing their stories of single life in their 20s in the prime, 30s post-war, and 40s definitely post-war. And they said there is a feeling of undesirability and unworthy in a relationship, especially if you don't have a relationship in your formative years like high school. Well, you could say I was that, but I've not suffered all that much. And even college I never went to. Says 26-year-old Nicola Ferner, it is this feeling that you can't really shake. What was she doing in her 20s? Riding a cock carousel maybe, or pining for the top 10% or 1% of men. She's 26, she's in her prime. She could easily get a guy if she just lowers her standard and not have a shopping list of things that she wants in a guy. She goes on to say she has trouble being vulnerable with men because in the past she's opened up about her feelings. They probably scared the guy off. She came on too strong. They haven't been reciprocated, making her feel like something is wrong with her. She probably came on too strong to him. She didn't give the relationship time to develop. In a publication, her video has garnered nearly 4,000 comments and 450,000 likes and been watched 73,000 times. I've never seen that video, so I can't comment on that. And then a story about Felicity, yada yada yada. When I stop and think about Felicity, I'm immediately aware of my error. She's quick-witted, attractive, smart and fun to be around. Why hasn't she got a boyfriend then if she's all that? I get a sense that while inexperienced, she's make a pretty great partner. She just hadn't had the chance to showcase these qualities. Or it could be Felicity was too picky. She always thought she could do better. She didn't settle. And then we come to the old added baggage. Baggage is a term that comes with a lot of chats in the San Diego singles over the last 6 months. So it's no secret that the older we are, the more likely we are to have learnt bad dating habits and gone through traumatic experiences. Yes, it's called life experiences. With ex-partners, our past affects how we date. Or they always think they can do better. There must be a lot of post-war women in San Diego. Never been to America, so I have no idea what it's like there. And then it goes more yada yada. On the part, Felicity remains hopeful. Of the Rappaport chat, she shares the qualities she's looking for in a man. And here's the shopping list. Someone I can laugh with. Someone who's a little more extroverted. Someone who is educated and cultured. I like sports too, so someone who's going to watch football on Sunday with me. You notice it's me. Men, if you're reading catch for the last line, we need to talk. She's still chasing after Prince Charming. This is her shopping list. She's not wanting to settle, though no wonder she's single. Now that's San Diego magazine. On the same day, Bride came out with this one. This is August 2nd. Struggling to find love, here are 7 reasons it might be happening to you. I.e., are you listening, Felicity? It says falling in love can be wonderful, yada yada yada. But what many fail to realise is that finding love isn't as easy as it's portrayed in the movies. Of course not, but sometimes it is. Dad met Mum at Butlins in Skegness. Dad was with 2 mates, and Mum was with her sister and a girlfriend, and they just happened to be passing, and one of Dad's mates said, let's chat these girls up. And it's more or less started from then. Going back to the article, oftentimes getting this euphoric feeling can appear out of reach and impossible for some. Depends if you're picky or not. With many individuals asking themselves, why can't I find love? Because you could be too picky. And then it goes down, you're picking unavailable people. Women today, they want the top 10% or 1%. They want to get in with somebody like Elon Musk, but he's not available. He has options. At $400 billion, you have plenty of options. He could date anyone he wanted. Look at his dating history with women in Hollywood. Women think that he can get people on that caliber. It might only be a 4 or a 5 at the best, but they think they're a 10, and they want a guy that's a 10, forgetting that guys who are 8, 9s and 10s, they have options. It says if you look back at your dating history, how would you characterize the people you've been with? If you're considering wanting a lasting relationship, but keep a different kind of result, you may be subsequently drawn to unavailable partners, i.e., they're going after the bad boys and the guys in the top 10 and 1%. They don't settle for the guys in their own sexual market value that they could make a nice home with and be happy. It says, finding love is truly a priority for you. And she lists, making a list of red flags that previously emotionally unavailable partners exhibited, but they could be drawn to those types of guys. You're afraid of failing in your relationship. You're scared of getting hurt. And then there's a token picture of a token guy. As remember, this is Brides. It's predominantly aimed at women. You're unsure what you want in a partner. In that case, why have a shopping list? You know that no guy is perfect. You have to work together to develop a relationship. You don't think you deserve love. That's why so many people are unable to find love, because they don't think they're worthy of having it. It's tough trying to find love if you're unsure that how you want to be seen and loved. That's where courting comes in my country. It's how it used to be. You can't court her for a month or so and you just know not much chemistry there, so you move on. They overanalyze things, women these days. You're settling. This is the big thing. It's important to set high standards for yourself. In other words, a shopping list. You're not putting yourself out there. From a young age, we're taught by movies and books the likes find us, just fall out the sky and they know it's right. The more you put yourself out there, the more likely you'll find love. Yes, it's that simple. Or you could go out and out and out. If a guy goes to a club, the women in the club are not going to go to it with him. The women in the club are after Chad. We're all very busy individuals. The idea of getting to know someone who doesn't always feel appealing to many. Now, all this is probably having an effect on women emotionally. As you know, women are ruled by their emotions, and prolonged effects being on their own is starting to have an effect, because I found this. You fast forward to 22nd of September this year. 15 psychological effects of being single for too long. This is Marriage, another site aimed at women and written by another woman. Going back to this one. This was written by a woman. These were written by a woman. And this, again, was written by a woman. None of these articles are aimed at guys. That's all aimed at women, because women are starting to feel the effect of guys en masse across the Western world, not bothering with them because of the women are being too toxic, too picky, and with the 4B movement, the ones that are going onto it, a guy wouldn't want to date anyway. But conservative women in America, they decided that they're on a winning streak now. That's why you see that all these liberal women, the conservative women, hope they go their own way. That leaves more men for them. But anyway, back to this article. It says, what does single being a long time do to you? Did you know the psychological effects of being single for too long? We bet you don't. Being single for a long time affects you in more ways than one, and not all of them are positive. Guys are used to being single on their own. I've been single for the bulk of my life. You get a guy is mentally wired to be on his own and do things. In American history, the frontiers were explored by guys going off on their own. They call them trailblazers, or commonly mountain men. They're used to being on their own and being self-sufficient, not women. It says the article, take a quick look at the negative effects of being single for a long time. And you drop down, disadvantages. Whoops. Being single for too long can be dangerous because it has downsides. Many of these disadvantages are psychological, while others are physical, but can also protect you from negative impacts of relationships. For example, when you're single, you may not know how it feels to have someone who cares deeply for you and in your space and is rooting for you. But what if she's not rooting for you? What if you're in a toxic relationship? What if she's always shit testing you? What then? And the psychological effects of being single for too long. You notice the picture, 2 women. Your chances of being charitable may drop. Less empathy. The women today, they don't have much empathy for guys. A lower self-esteem, that's women. That's why they're complaining on TikTok. Self-sabotaging your relationships. Have you noticed breaking out the pattern difficult once you have fallen into it? One of the psychological effects, being single for too long. But with modern women, a lot of them, they've always got a backup plan. Once they want out the relationship, they've got a guy lined up to monkey branch to him. Better social life. One of the effects, giving up the safety of solitude can be daunting, but a guy likes solitude, peace and quiet. That's all a guy wants at home. I've got peace and quiet in this flat. It's easy to continue with not so good habits. That's where self-discipline comes in. And then adverse health issues. 54% who stay single for a long time end up with health issues that later affect their love life. The common health issues extended single could include suicidal thoughts, depression, anxiety, and mood disorders. That could be aimed at women and not necessarily guys, even though a lot of young guys kill themselves, which is bad and wrong and sad. This implies that being single for a long time may affect your mind body right now, and the will to fight for your life may reduce, but then you can focus on actualizing goals. With me, it's now I'm retired, and my goal is to be good at alpine skiing and comfortable on blue and red runs. When I eventually get into it proper, I'm away in January and then in March on 2 holidays. And then I've got the practice at Chill Factor, which I'm off to tomorrow. And then strengthening independence. That's a guy. Singlehood can foster a sense of independence without relying on a partner. You learn to make decisions autonomously, manage responsibilities, and cultivate a self-sufficient lifestyle. That is when a guy takes the red pill and goes his own way and looks after himself and becomes the best version of himself. Highlighting self-discovery, expanded social connections. If a guy is single and he's getting successful, he'll attract women. Increased flexibility and spontaneity. Single individuals can enjoy freedom to explore new opportunities and experiences without consulting a partner. You could say a guy could become a passport bro. Embraces solitude and positive choice. There's nothing wrong with being on your own. It's peaceful. It's, you're not with a Nagasaurus. And then we got the FAQs. But anyway, as you can see, this is aimed at women, and it's starting to have an effect on the female part of the American society, because they're worrying about the psychological effects of masses of women being single for too long. The brides are worried about the fall in the marriage rate, and they're struggling to find love, so they're trying to come up 7 reasons that why this might be happening to you. And at least in San Diego, the relationship virgins are becoming an issue in that part of America. So looks like we're seeing the results of the MGTOW effect across America, and we got 2030 creeping along. We've only got another 5, maybe 6 years, and then remember 52% of women in America will be single and childless. All these liberal women, that is, the conservative women in America, traditional women, they will probably be all right because they realize that feminism is a dead-end street for women, and they're not going to go down that road. I think I'm under 15 minutes now, maybe a bit longer, so I'll have to wrap it up. As you know the routine, like, dislike, etc. It's completely up to you. So I'll see if I can find something else for next week. But for now, that's it for this one. Bye bye.